All right, good evening, everybody. Another week has passed and another new episode of Keto Rocks is here. So welcome. My name is Jim Hobbs, and to my left or right is
Ryan Forsythe.
And we are here to encourage you to a new lifestyle, or for you to look into a lifestyle of keto or carnivore, and encourage you to do your own research, try it, and maybe you'll like it. And if you like it, stick with it, share it. But we're really doing this show to help break some of the lies and the myths that are out there that circulate in regards to the keto lifestyle or carnivore lifestyle. And Brian and I always talk way more before we start the show. So we were talking earlier about, America, and I'm going to bring up the screen here in a second, and we can kind of just go over it together. But if you literally, matter of fact, I'll just bring it up now. Bear with us. I'll bring it up. There we go. So you hear us talk about what's been taught, what's been given as a diet for Americans to follow. But I want you just to be totally honest with yourself and look at these numbers. This is the U.S. population. So this isn't choose anybody. This is the population from 1958 to 2009. And you can see here, if this was your stock portfolio, you'd be extremely happy with the direction in which it's going. But do you know what kind of foods they were eating in 1958? Now, I can only tell you from my family side that my grandmother, grandfather, it was a lot of more of the carnivore diet, Brian. It was eggs, chicken, fish. They did have vegetables. I'm not going to deny that. But it was a meat and potato diet that they literally lived on. And I think it's very telling. Obviously, something took place right here in the 60s and up until now that, if you're honest with yourself, you have to say, if you're trying, let's just treat this as a golf score. The lower the score, the better you are. Well, the percent of Americans with diabetes in 1958 is less than 1%.
Mm-hmm.
Less than 1%. You go to 2009, we are now at 7%, and it's way, I think it's, I don't know what it is in 2020,
Well,
but
yeah, we're like a decade beyond that now. So it's probably it's probably off the chart now.
Yeah, it's probably at 10. I mean, let's just look at 10 years here. So that right there, move that up. Yeah, you're off the chart right now. So the question you have to literally ask yourself, if you, your family, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers go get the annual checkup and go to the doctor, and they're telling you the diet that you should be on, which usually follows what the food pyramid is, you have to ask yourself if that diet is really having the impact they're telling us it does. You just have to be honest with yourself. And when I look at these numbers, I don't know about anybody else, but it's disheartening to see that what I've been told I should eat and how I should eat should help me become healthier, but the numbers do not play out. That chart does not say that people are getting better with managing diabetes, or not even being diagnosed with diabetes. So that's a huge issue. At least it should be, for you to question. The other big myth, and we've talked about this a lot, is, and here's what the guidelines has been. This is 1977 when the U.S. Senate first published dietary guidelines to combat the increasing heart disease epidemic in the United States. eat less fat and cholesterol, eat less refined and processed sugar. Okay, eat more complex carbohydrates. So they did throw in here, eat less refined and processed sugar. So now the question comes to be, then why? And you just go do your own research. Walk in any grocery store and just walk around the shelves and look at how many products have sugar.
Yeah, that's all they did. They just disguised it.
Yeah. They gave it a different name.
Yeah.
You got the corn syrup. You've got all types of other different high fructose. That it's all turns to sugar. As a matter of fact, your carbohydrates turn to sugar. And so I know a lot of you out there, because I've heard from you, really go, but yeah, but I'm a vegan and I eat this and I do, coconut oil and all these seeds oil. And I think I posted it today. I think you did too, Brian. On Dr. Ken Berry had put out a thing about
that chart.
The dangers of seed oils and what that does to you. And I posted something the other day, which is how, I'm not saying this one, I'm not going to name this person, but the person responded back with, in response to how I eat, well, aren't you worried about your cholesterol? And I know, Brian,
I get that all
not
the
only
time.
yeah, they're worried about your cholesterol because they see you eat. And I saw your picture yesterday, whatever it was. You had a chaffle with meat and eggs and cheese, and it was a Whopper. I mean, it was about this big. You could not eat that with one hand. You had to use two hands and a friend.
Or a knife and a fork.
A knife and a fork, yeah, that works too. So people then say, yeah, but aren't you scared about your cholesterol? And that's what you're going to hear most of the time from your friends. And the reason why you're hearing that is because that's what they've been programmed to believe, that eating eggs and eating fat is going to produce fat and cholesterol in you. And nothing truthful could be further from the truth than, first of all, do your research to understand what cholesterol does and what makes you believe that having a high cholesterol is bad for you or unhealthy for you. And the other part that's really, go ahead, Brian, jump in.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, I mean, really the reason people think that is because their doctors tell them that. And it's a complete lie. So.
Yeah, so I think what you need to, first of all, realize, just give yourself, do a reset, do a blank slate, say, I'm not going to believe anything, and then start going out like this is your first day of your life, like you've just been born in May of 2020, and you're going to go out and seek a lifestyle of food that you want to eat, because remember, you want to look at food as fuel for your body. You want to be able to do the things that you want to do. You don't want food making you into a couch potato, stealing your energy, stealing your life, then causing you to have to go to a doctor, then have to take the statins, and then just a downhill spiral. You want to be able to live life, and you want to live life more abundantly. And the way to do that, in my honest opinion, is for you to do your own research. Truly don't believe what's been told to you by the medical profession or big pharma or the vegan movies or whatever's out there. I would say do your own research. And another thing that I think is very important that doesn't get mentioned enough, when you feed your brain, I'm saying all the time, food is fuel, but your brain needs fat. It needs fat and cholesterol to fire. It needs that so your synapses can fire, and you can be quick, you can think, but also the kind of mood that it puts you in. People who I know who are keto and carnivore have a more higher energy, have a passion and wanting to go do something. They're more active and they want to go do active activities. And the people who go to a doctor who then follow the protocol and getting statins, I just see a slow decline, the kind of lifestyle they live. It's almost like they have told them, and now they're living from prescription pill to the next prescription pill. And this pill didn't do it, or my body's now not responding the way it should. So now I got to go to this one. And in the meantime, it's just literally destroying the internals of their body. And it doesn't need to happen. That's what I'll say. It doesn't need to happen. And then there's so many other ways that your diet impacts your lifestyle. Like it impacts like what you want to get accomplished, what you want to do. I mean, Brian, you've been playing guitar now for how many years?
Probably what, 56 years?
Yeah. And so do you still have a passion to play, and do you still have an energy to play, and would you be able to do the things that you do if you had followed the quote pyramid diet 20 years ago? If you didn't start walking your own path, following your own research, do you think you'd be different right now?
Well, physically, yes, I would be. Well, mentally, well, I know I have a lot more clarity. I can finish a sentence now. Before I started doing all this, this way of eating and the intermittent fasting and all that stuff, I would get mid sentence and just forget not what I was saying, but I'd come to a place where I couldn't think of the word I wanted. And that would happen all the time, like several times a day. And now that doesn't happen. I mean, maybe once a month I might stumble because I'm looking for a special word that I can't think of. But most of the time now it's like I have this clarity where I can just complete the sentence, and a lot of times even put it together in a better, more cohesive way, instead of just stumbling around and trying to find my way through a sentence like I used to. So I have that mental clarity. I can't, you talk about guitar playing. I've been playing a long time, so it takes a lot for me to get inspired now for some reason in that area. Some people seem to never lose that, but that's one thing I am struggling with a little bit. But I don't think it has anything to do with my diet. It's just, I don't know, distractions, stress, different things. But yeah, I wanted to say something earlier when you were talking about, what was it? You were saying something about one of those charts. Oh yeah, that the first chart you showed, where the thing was just a gradual uphill climb. Right. Yeah, that's when that Ansel Keys guy came along, and that was right after Eisenhower had his heart attack, and he did that study where there was 22 countries, but he narrowed it, but
down to seven.
Yeah, because he wanted to prove his hypothesis, and it didn't work. Like it was disproven, except for in those 7 places. So he just took the 7 places that proved it and used those. But anyway, that guy ended up being the guy in charge of whatever the, food whatever
Drug Administration or whatever,
FDA or
FDA.
something. Yeah, so he ended up getting in charge and just railroading everybody into hating, made fat the enemy. And And right around the end of the 50s, early 60s is when margarine became huge. I remember all those commercials. What was it? Blue Bonnet on it. And I'm trying to think of some of the other products, but yeah, you think it's butter, but it's not. It's whatever, I forget what brand, but all those
Oh
little.
my gosh, I'm so glad I remember. I remember what you're talking about because they played it over and over. Then we only
Yeah.
had 3 channels, so that commercial ran all the time. But
And yeah, and they make it sound like it's like the healthy alternative, and actually it's the poisonous alternative. Like, I mean, those people should be held accountable for for pushing
well,
that
there,
stuff.
well, they should. There should be some responsibility on the part of people who recommend. And now you got this whole vegan movement, and you got the vegan meats. And I mean, now, it was rough enough to go into a grocery store and make sure you're buying something that's real food. Now I got to go in there because it looks like it's real food, and now I got to make sure it is real food. I got to make sure it's real sausage, not sausage made from vegetables.
Yep.
And so you're competing with and now they even got hamburger that looks like hamburger 1 pound packages wrapped up. Even that's not even real meat. So you got to be careful even when you're in the meat section now at your grocery store to make sure you're truly buying meat.
I know it's crazy, but I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Oh, and there was something else I was going to say about that. Oh, God. I was just talking about how I have more clarity, but no, I was thinking of something way back when you were first started talking, I let you get done with it. Now I can't remember exactly where I was going to go with that, but yeah. But I bet that shows the diabetes. That's the diabetes rate, right?
Yeah, that's the diabetes. Yep, there's the diagnosed diabetes right there.
Yeah, I'm sure obesity goes right along with it too, because they kind of go hand in hand most of the time. Sometimes they don't, but most of the time.
I wish there was also, now here's another one that you get all the time. You don't need carbs. You need carbs to build muscle.
Yeah, that's a huge myth.
Yeah.
There's nothing true about that statement.
And there's a lot of people, you can do your own research. Again, I'm not going to tell you where to go, but you can do your own research. There are a lot of bodybuilders who are strict carnivore that literally do nothing but eat and work out without even weights. They just do exercises without weights. They have a whole regimen you can follow, and you can utilize building muscle and decrease your amount of fat.
Yeah, I've put on muscle. I don't need an ounce of carbohydrates or anything. It's just pure fat and protein. That's what I eat.
Now, people will say to that, Brian, what you just said, but don't you eat any vegetables? Don't you have to have vegetables in order for you to be healthy?
Yeah, people are shocked by that, the fact that I don't eat vegetables or fruit. But yeah, it's just because you've been told that that's healthy. But I mean, some people can eat that stuff and they're fine with it, but I'm so much better off without it. And it's like night and day for me. I mean, I can see it so clearly now. It's like, why would I want to eat that stuff? Because I mean, I used to like it. I like the way it tastes, but it just does not treat my body well.
Now, people may say, well, yeah, but you should eat vegetables. You should eat vegetables. And
well, they think fiber is important. That's why, because they've been told that. But
well, go ahead. You had something. I don't want you to forget anything else. So go ahead and just jump in from here on out.
Well, I was going to say, well, some people do okay with fiber. I don't know why, but really, what fiber really is, it's just undigested vegetables that the body's like rejecting because it can't digest it. It's like Yeah, and not everybody can process that, which I couldn't. It caused such inflammation in my guts and everywhere else in my body, and it just clogged me up. Yeah, it didn't work like it works, I guess, in a normal person, and that's why when I stopped eating fiber, it was like a miracle. It's like, man, do I feel better? And I mean, yeah, there's not like this big pouch down there in my gut anymore, like it used to be. And I think, I don't know if I've ever talked about it on this podcast, but I used to compare it to like when you have like a sinus infection and your sinuses are all swollen and you can't breathe. That's what my guts felt like. Like they were all swollen and nothing could move in there. I mean, that's the way I walked around for years until I got rid of the fiber, and now it's like completely gone.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this on one of our previous podcasts, that I remember when I was eating like the 3 to 5 times a day, because eating small meals is better for you. I just remember, what happened was I was really going from one craving to the next. I was full. I felt that bloated log brick in my stomach, and then I'm eating again, and it's just like I never feel. Best way to explain it is I feel light on my feet right now. Like I feel light on my feet. I feel sluggish when I was eating back at that 3 to 5 times a day and eating carbs. It just doesn't work for me. And the other part of the equation, which is criminal too, in my opinion, the vegetables and the fruits that you're consuming today have been genetically modified, and they're so high in sugar. They're not the fruits and vegetables of 200 years ago that you could digest. And people need to realize that the soil takes in the nutrients and makes that vegetable or fruit. That's what made it healthy. But they're so, what's the word I'm looking for? So starved of those nutrients now, and they're grown on chemicals, and it's like a illusion.
The land is depleted of all those nutrients because of the overplanting and all that.
Yeah, and so you're not, even when you eat a vegetable or a fruit, most of the time you're not even getting what you should be getting out of it. I can find it again. Just showing you the decreased nutrition that comes from eating the vegetables today compared to the vegetables of 20, 30, 40 years ago, just because the soil is being depleted, and you're really eating a shell of what you once were. And that's one of the things about eating, like grass-fed beef or free-range chickens, and eating stuff that is organic. You're getting what food tastes like. You're getting what food should be like, and you're eating real food. You're not eating something that's been processed and a bunch of chemicals have been added to it. By the way, talking about food, my cow got butchered today. I know, and I don't mean to say that lightly, but it means I'm going to have a freezer full of food come. I think it gets delivered next week. So, and I got a freezer. So thank you. I got a freezer thanks to a friend who is moving, and he said, "Hey, do you want this freezer?" And so thank you. Yeah. So I got a half a cow coming, and one of the things that I loved how this butcher allowed me to choose how I like the ribs, and so I actually choose Korean style ribs because I love cooking Korean style ribs. So I'm excited about being able to have a freezer full of meat and know that where it came from, and the fact that I'm going to be good for the next 6 months. So just figure I'd throw that in.
Nice.
So
yeah, another friend of mine just messaged me a little while ago. My friend Maria, I think hers was supposed to arrive either today or tomorrow. She's getting a half a cow, I think.
That's awesome. Maybe she's getting the other half of mine. Yeah, mine's being processed. Matter of fact, about 2 miles down the road. So
Wow.
they called us tonight, said, hey, how do you want your cuts? Because we're doing it tomorrow. It's being processed. So we sent them back the, matter of fact, I probably still got the sheet on the fax machine. Yeah. So there's my cut. There.
Nice.
Yeah. So there it is. So there's what I'm going to be getting soon. And then
so when you get a half a cow, is there things in there? Like, is there a brisket in there?
There is. So you do get a brisket.
Yeah, because each cow's got two because they come from the upper.
So the front, it's the front of the cow, and now the organs. I don't know how they split that heart and all that up, but we asked them, like, whatever part that we get, can just grind that in with our beef, so we can just grind it all together with that, and that's fine.
So you getting all the organs?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I got liver, tail, heart, skirt, kidneys, tongue, hanging tenders, and sweetbreads.
Nice.
So, yeah, I know it doesn't sound great for you people who don't like meats, but let me just tell you, that is fuel for the body right there. So.
Oh yeah, the organs are just packed with nutrients and vitamins.
Yeah, so.
And yeah, see, the cows, they go out and eat all the grass and get all the vitamin D from the sunshine, and they pass it on to us when we eat the meat.
Yeah, and they digest and they take all that and the four stomachs to process everything and they break it down, and we get the benefit of them eating all the vegetables, if you want to speak, and digesting it.
They have the system to deal with all that.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, truly, we don't have it. I think Brian, last week or the week before, we're talking about going back to our caveman days, the ancient way of they would go out there and kill a water buffalo or whatever it was, and they would devour it, eat it, and then fast for 3 or 4 days, and then they'd go out and hopefully go on another hunt and find something else to share with the family or the tribe or the villagers, and go from there. They didn't have the ability to drive down to a Kroger's or a Super Walmart or a Food Lion or Piggly Wiggly and Costco and just have whatever you want, shelves and shelves and shelves of just processed crap. And so the question comes down, if your food has a mom, then it's real food, and I think you will find that it's really good for you. The people who say, I don't want to change, it's too hard. Okay, I don't want to change, I'll give you that. That goes back to your mind. Your mind definitely does not want you to change, because the mind wants to be in control of all faculties of you. So the mind wants to control your stomach as well as your mouth. So, and it says you deserve to have this, and you can celebrate with a chocolate chip cookie or a chocolate pie or key lime pie or whatever your weakness is during this time of year, during the summer. But the reality of it is, and this is where I wanted to say earlier, when your mind's being fed, your brain's being fed the proper food, you can think more clear, you can finish sentences, but you're able to realize there's just, I can't even put a word to it. There's an ancient, I don't know, there's the energy, there's just something about you being able to think clearly, to know what you need to do in order to survive and thrive. That's the best way I can put it. Hopefully that makes sense. Hope that conveys over. But it's the best way for you to survive, thrive, and fully be alive is by eating clean. Eating clean is going to cause your body not to have to be working overtime or be inflamed or feel like you got a brick processing through your intestines. It's going to be alive. You're going to be able to thrive. And that's the real question. Is that what you want to do? Or do you just want to go through life letting yourself, your mind, and your gut eat whatever it wants to eat? Do you want to be the person that goes to the carnival and have the cotton candy, the candy apple, the fried Oreo, the fried Twinkie, whatever it is, and feel terrible? And then go to your doctor and he says, "Oh no, you're not too bad. Let me give you let me install an insulin pump on you. You're good to go." Or give you this drug, or give you this statin, or your cholesterol's too high and you're concerned about it, and you get put on a statin. The worst thing you can do to yourself, in my opinion, is to go down that path of being put on statins, because the reality of it is, don't just take my word for it that I'm saying food is fuel. Food is also medicine. And I think if you will just preventative medicine. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, it's preventative medicine. So before you go down that path of taking statins, isn't it worth your life just to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to try this keto carnivore lifestyle for a month. Just try it for a month and be honest with yourself. Truly do it. Don't do it halfway and then go, yeah, I tried it, didn't work for me. Because I'll tell you right now, if you're going to do it halfway, it's not going to work. If you're going to mix sugar and fat together, it's a perfect combination to make yourself unhealthy. So you literally either make a commitment to do it and truly be honest with how you're feeling day by day after doing it for 30 days, and truly be honest with yourself, or go ahead and put your life in the hands of another doctor and let him prescribe something to you that's going to lead you to have to be on that for the remainder of your life.
Yeah. Well, while you were just talking, my previous thought came back to me.
There you go. Go ahead. Share it.
It kind of ties in. Well, you were saying do your own research, and but that's a tricky thing too, because I mean, you can Google anything and get any result. You know, it depends on where you find it, and you know, and I know. It's funny because I'll talk to my mother about this stuff, and I can tell like she's just like zoning out and tuning me out when I go into one of my little cholesterol rants or whatever, you know, because I think she just thinks, you know, like, well, you know, how could you know this when the doctor says this, you know? I mean, she doesn't come out and say it, but I can just feel it. But
look, let's just be honest. That's how everybody looks at you or me. It doesn't matter which. Is anybody who sits there and so done their own research, they're going, yeah, but you're just Jim. You're just Brian. You're a guitar player. What do you mean you know more than the doctor knows? So
yeah. Well, the thing is, I didn't do my own, you know, like what you call it, my own research as far as like doing what do you call them, the experiments and all that stuff to find out. You know, I latch on to people that have done the research, and you know, I find the root research, and not just the like what I was going to say with my mom. She gets those, you know, the AARP paper and those little health pamphlets that they send to old people, and she's always sitting around reading those where they're telling you the proper human, you know, the standard American diet and what more healthy whole grains, and you need this and you need fiber and you need, you know, whole thing just on and on and on. And it's so funny because I'll go to visit her. Oh, I haven't been there in a while because of the pandemic thing, but when I would go to visit her and she'd have one of those little things and she'd go, well, it says here that this is really bad for you. You shouldn't. And I'm like, you know, it's like, well, the sad part is that's where people get that's what people consider their research. And you can't believe everything you read either. And not everything is research. It's just somebody trying to make an article out of some kind of thing and making it sensational, and, you know, putting this headline, you know, cholesterol is bad, and, or whatever, you know, or cholesterol is the cause of heart disease. And it's like, what? Cholesterol, your liver makes cholesterol. If it was bad, your liver wouldn't be making it. It's like, but, you know, it depends on where you hear it from, you know. And so really, I don't know, the only advice I could give in that direction would be, you know, find somebody that knows what they're talking about, that's not being paid by like a food company or a drug company to tell you what they're telling you. Because, you know, like the breakfast foods are the ones that started that whole breakfast is the
Pop-Tarts, the cereal, the corn, the Kellogg's, the healthy.
Well, they tell you it's the breakfast is the most important meal of the day, just so you'll eat breakfast, and they have breakfast because they're selling you a breakfast food. And you know, it's like, that's where that came from. That's not, there's no truth behind that. That's that little saying. That's a marketing phrase from a food company. But people take that as something that came from some kind of health research at some point. No, that didn't come from there. It came from some marketing department. It's like, and a lot of that stuff does. That's where it came from.
Well, that's you know, Brian's absolutely correct in doing your research. Now you may be saying, yeah, but my doctor told me this. But here's what I want everybody to realize, and I have utmost respect for doctors, but a doctor is only telling you what they've been taught. And so if the lessons, the books that are being used have been written by the people that are supported by Big Pharma to write these books or to do these studies to back up what they want to market to the world, then the doctor's going to be doing, he did go to school, he is going to use studies, but how legit are the studies in which is backing up their belief that you should have margarine instead of real butter, or vegetable oil instead of using bacon grease? All this stuff that people used to
2% milk instead of
or even 2%, or even the skim milk, where it's just, I don't know what it is. It's, you know, water,
milk sugar.
I don't know what. Yeah, it's a Kool-Aid. It's milk Kool-Aid is what it is. It's just water and some sugar. But this is where your doctors are getting the information. There are very few doctors, because they're just, first of all, they're inundated with patients and with guidelines and protocol to follow, have very little time for them to be able to go out and continue their learning. But some of them do. That's why I have respect for the people like Dr. Ken Berry. And there's a lot more than just Ken Berry, but he's the easiest one that comes to mind. But these are the people who truly, at some point in their career, goes, you know what? I'm not seeing people responding the way I was taught that they're going to respond. And they start to go down a different path. They look for a different path because they truly got into that profession to help people live longer and to be healthier. And the people who go against the grain, and then not only go against the grain, but start living that life, those are the people who I follow, the people who live the life, not the, you know, the 400-pound doctor telling me that I need to be, I should not be eating the pounds of bacon that I'm eating. I need to trim my chicken fat and take the skin off, and I need to incorporate more vegetables into my diet. I have too much butter. I need to go to when I start to hear that coming from somebody who is obviously not healthy. And so I think what Brian and I are saying is, do your due diligence, but do your due diligence of where you're doing your due diligence, and make sure that the people who you're reading about or following are really doing what they say they're doing. I know you don't, there's no way for you to 100% know this, but you have a pretty good barometer to be able to follow along, to find out, you know, what they're saying, what they're doing, if they seem to be walking the talk that they're talking, or they're just telling you something because that's what they've been told to tell you.
Yeah,
So
my whole like group of people I follow has changed, you know, since I started it. You know, I'd find somebody, and then at some point that would lead me to another person, and then I'd realize, oh, this person like maybe knows a little bit more what they're talking about. And then, you know, there was a few early on people that I used to follow that yeah, I sort of lost faith in, and most of the time it's because they're selling supplements or something. And it's like, if they're selling something, then there's always like something there. It's like, you know, because there's a few guys like health guys. I don't want to name any names. They'll that are into the whole keto or carnivore or whatever, and the fasting. But then they'll have these supplements, and they'll justify eating like or taking what is it, the
amino acids,
yeah, the essential amino acids, not the chain branch or the it's been so long since I've been taking supplements, I can't remember what they're called now. The beast, what is it? Anyway, the essential amino acids is
the essential amino acids. Okay, I got you. Yeah, like Dr. Berg. I know he's one of the
yeah, that guy. I stopped
bars
following
me
him early on because all he wanted
just
to do was tell you.
that's all. I get like 10 emails a day from him, or
yeah, and every single thing that he's talking about, he has a supplement to go with it to fix it or help with it, or and you know, I don't know, maybe the supplements are okay, but it's like you don't need that stuff if you're eating right. But there's another guy though that's really, I mean, this guy's like, I love listening to his blogs or when he's on like doing a podcast, or like the guy's really super smart. But he also has a line of supplements, and he'll justify eating the essential amino acids during a fast. And it's like, no, like you can't take that stuff on when you're fasting. But, and the guy should know that, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just weird how they'll push that stuff and make it sound like it's okay. You know, and then you'll see somebody else that's not selling those supplements saying it, no, that's not okay. You know, so you got to watch out for that too. And I can still follow, like the one guy that does sell the supplements. I still follow him because he's got a lot of other really good things to say. I just don't buy his stuff. But yeah, you don't.
That's okay. I mean, you know.
Huh?
No, that's okay. You know, just telling people, look, you know, like a whole chicken, eat the meat, throw away the bones. You know, so take away from different people what resonates with you, and incorporate that into your lifestyle and into your diet. Doesn't mean you need to. You know, one of the things talking about all those supplements, all I'm hearing is ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Is that, you know, I can't afford to eat keto or carnivore because it's so expensive. Meat is so expensive. But I want you to literally, if like Brian, I know Brian eats one meal a day basically for the most part, and I eat one, maybe two on a daily basis. Most of the time it's just one. But if you take that one meal of what you're eating, and that's real food, and literally break it out over the course of a year, and also add into the number of doctor visits and medicine that you have to take when you're eating all the crap. At the end of the year, what are you really paying to live on this planet? What's it really costing you? And I think you'll find out that in the long run, keto carnivore is the best preventative medicine, the cheapest preventative medicine that you can be taking without having to have a over-the-counter prescription from your doctor. You know, you can go to your meat pharmacy, your meat deli, and pick your food that you want to eat, and literally let your body heal itself just by the foods that you're giving it to be able to do what it was intended to do, instead of giving control over your well-being to a person who was fed what the school wanted them to be fed, so they can push what they wanted to be pushed, so they can continue you down this matrix on this rabbit wheel, the gerbil wheel, or the hamster wheel, whatever that thing is called, the hamster wheel. And so you just, oh, I need to go to the doctor again. I got to do this, and become the relying upon the one pill that's going to heal you. It's just not going to happen. It may keep you alive, but why not thrive and eat food naturally the way it was intended? And so that's about all I got for this week's. Anything else you want to add, Brian?
Yeah, stay away from those supplements, like all the, the whole cashing in on the keto craze, all those companies with the powders. I mean, some of them have really quality stuff, but you don't need it. You don't need ketone powder and all that junk. And a lot of times these beginners, they think they have to buy this whole stack of stuff, like hundreds of dollars worth of, big canisters of the ketones, and you got to take that in the morning and get into ketosis. And it's like, no, you don't need all that crap. That's just like, well, and I guess when you're just starting out, you don't know any better, and you're just sort of going by what these companies are telling you. You need this, but
it's like.
Uh-huh.
No, I say this. It's like the fact that you're going to jump in the pool. You're going to go into a pool, but before you can jump in the pool, you need to buy pool water. Those trucks that got pool water on it. I used to go, what's different about pool water? And so there's no different about that water. Just so everybody knows, this is my point. Pool water trucks then hook up to a fire hydrant and fill it up with the same water that you get from your city utility company, your water company. So there's no difference in regards to the water. Same thing goes with these keto companies, like Brian was saying. You're in ketosis when you're not taking sugar and you're staying away carbohydrates and you're eating the food, meats, and staying away from the stuff that turns into sugar. Guess what? Your body will go in ketosis. The only way that you're going to need something to get you out of it, if you have made a decision to eat something that's going to cause it or cause you to come out of ketosis. And
well, that's
to
the
sit
thing.
there and go ahead, Brian.
I was just going to say that's the other thing about those, where they what's the word?
Essential amino acids.
No, the ketones. When you ingest the ketones, like that ketone powder stuff, people are so obsessed with like the little peeing on the little stick.
The pee strips. Yeah, the pee strips.
They think that they can ingest ketones, and that makes them be in ketosis. But really, ketosis is a state that your body goes into. You can dump all that stuff in your system, but that doesn't mean you're in ketosis. Like none of the other, any of the benefits of ketosis, you're just getting ketones dumped into your bloodstream, and that's all that is.
Yeah, well, all you're doing when you do that is your buddy's taking your drug test for you. You're using his urine to pass the test. The reality of it is your body's still being impacted. It's being inflamed. So, the best thing for you to do, the purest, yeah, you're not burning fat. Your body's inflamed, and you're happy because your pee strip shows that you're in ketosis. No, it's there because you've taken a bunch of stuff that's going to show you that they're passing through you. The reality of it is, again, this is something that Brian's talked about in past shows. Why did you become keto or carnivore because you wanted to be healthier and improve your life? That's the question. Don't lie to yourself. That's the beauty of whatever lifestyle you want to live. And I truthfully don't care which you pick. You could be a vegan for all I care. I just want you to be what you say you want to be, but I'm just sharing with you stuff that for me in the walk in the past that I've been on has caused me to feel better, has shown for me that I'm healthier. I'm reversing stuff in my body's gene pool by eating the proper foods and not going on a statin. And if I can help somebody else to become healthier, not to be put on a statin, and can live a more energetic life, that's awesome. That makes me happy. So I'm not here to push anything. I'm not here to sell you essential amino acids or anything. I'm here to really help you have an understanding and break through the marketing that's been done on the healthcare profession as a whole in this country, so you can be healthier. That's it. All right. Well, that's another show wrapped up. So thank you everyone for joining us. We ask you, because we forget most of the time, if you can subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, share it with your friends, share it with people who are thinking about doing keto or carnivore, or just they're looking for something. You know, share the keto carnivore lifestyle with them and let them do what they need to do, and hopefully they'll find themselves in a better place in a year from now. Take care, everybody.
Yes, you